Well, I probably don't need this hat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Whiteman Park, and this is the holy grail of Chamberlain tractors. G'day everyone, my name is Noah and you're watching TJM Farming here on YouTube. And we've got the Chamberlain expert around here, Jeffrey from Broadacre Farmer here with us. We're down here today at Whiteman Park to celebrate the 80th anniversary of our homegrown WA built tractor manufacturer, Chamberlain Industries. Behind me is a 4280. Over there is another 4280. And a Mark II combine. I think it would have been around about a year or so ago when our combine, the 753, otherwise known as the flashiest combine we've ever owned, rocked up on Erinvale back home. In that video, I briefly discussed the history of Chamberlain tractors, and they were a WA built manufacturer. They started in 1951.
Okay, I'm going to stop myself there before we get this information wrong. The story of Chamberlain Industries has its roots in Victoria, not Western Australia. Bob Chamberlain was the man that started it all. He was a tractor designer, and he was hell-bent on designing a tractor that would be perfect for Australian farming conditions that Australian farmers would want. He went and set about designing several prototypes in the 1930s, and by 1946, shortly after the Second World War finished, he had perfected the tractor design and wanted a place to build his tractors. That design was the prototype 40K. Now, at the same time, the West Australian government heard of Bob Chamberlain's interest in building the tractors, and they had a now disused munitions factory in Welshpool, Western Australia. And they invited him to come over from Victoria to WA to start building his tractors, to drive the economy, to help farmers come and open up the land and expand agriculture as we know it in Western Australia. I'll let Jeffrey explain this next bit, as he knows a bit more about this stuff than I do.
They were testing them in 49 out at northeastern wheat belt. They were testing the 40K, but they didn't start production that year. So yeah, probably 50-51, the first one would have been built.
And this one, well, I've heard some people call them a sedan. In the original recording of that brief discussion of Chamberlain, I mentioned, but it got cut from the final video because I had to cut down the runtime, I mentioned the 4080As and the 4080Bs. This is what I meant. Now, you can see all of the other tractors in Chamberlain colours over here. They're all carrying a very different colour to this one right here. Maybe a couple of the ones in the back there, those are the loaders, so they would have been in the construction colours. But then you got this one. This one Jeffrey calls a John Deere because that's around the time that Chamberlain were bought out and steadily being phased out by John Deere.
From a distance, because they've got the square filter that a lot of the John Deeres use, they've also got the John Deere plate on it.
So they put a John Deere motor in this.
Yeah.
That actually explains quite a bit. I didn't know this.
So, yeah,
see,
they went away from the Perkins that they'd been using for a long time into the John Deere motors. This one's also got a far more automatic style transmission like some of the earlier John Deeres had as well.
Would I be allowed to go up in the cab? I'd be able to tell for myself. How do I open? Oh, okay, it opens like that. Okay.
So it is still a manual I've never driven one of these. They are a manual transmission, but they've got a very different selection process to
that's a okay. We've got a I've never seen this kind of transmission before. It looks like you only got 2 remotes in here for your hydraulics.
That's probably right. 2 pairs of remotes, yep.
And you got one shifter. This actually, I've never seen this type of transmission before, but if I'm not mistaken, that's your range, and then that's, I could be wrong, but that might be your revs, unless that's the revs there. The markings on here are pretty faded. So there's 4280 here, and this Mark II combine, which is probably a sister model to the one that's sitting half in the ground back home because of the fire a couple of years ago. These two are both property of the Tractor Museum, waiting to be restored. And as I was just talking to Jeffrey, oh, no, they've got the same transmission.
Okay, yep.
Although this one, you can see the actual decals.
Oh, okay.
Fast, slow, neutral. They were very articulate at Welshpool by the looks.
Yep.
And then they got 1, 2, 3, and R. Again, 2 sets of hydraulics, and oh, that's interesting. So if they've got a shifter on one arm, then what's the one on the main dashboard supposed to be for then?
That one?
This one.
That's your throttle.
That's the throttle.
I wonder if that's a power shift.
Might be.
Because that says high-low on there too. So that's probably power shift, but that's your throttle, idle and rabbit.
Keeping in mind, this is a learning experience for both of us. Jeffrey's only worked with the older Chamberlains, not really these ones. And I've never seen a 4280 up close like this before. So it's a learning experience for both of us. And it looks like it's had a bit of glass shrapnel there.
I suspect it had a windscreen until quite recently.
That would probably be the final straw wanting it to be donated.
But it does have a tape player.
Does have a tape player. And air conditioning by the looks. Although I'm not sure if it works. We haven't got the batteries here to test it.
I suspect this might be evaporative air conditioning too, rather than reverse cycle, rather than refrigerated air conditioning.
Yeah. So this right here is a Mark II combine. I say Mark II because there was a Mark I, a Mark II. I'm not actually sure if there was a Mark III before the 753 came along, but the 753 is the final evolution of the same design that this was originally based on. Basically, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a combine. Not that thing. That thing is a tractor powered header. This is the 40K prototype. Man. So this is the one that's turning 80 years old today.
Yep.
Happy birthday, old girl. I've hardly ever known you. I probably only saw you once in the museum. But you've done well for 80. Few spots of chip paint, but that's good. That means it's getting some use. And this is the prototype. So this is where it all started. 40K. This one over here, this is Charlie and Charlie. The rings are for Perkins.
And it means you get a square deal all round.
Square deal all round. Well, I mean, that's a fair point. Perkins still make pretty good engines.
They do.
This is Charlie and Charlie. It's the one that went around Australia 3 times and competed in a rally race, is that correct?
The Red X car trials.
The Red X car trials. They originally didn't want the tractor to participate because of some stupid rule that was basically anti-tractor at the time. They didn't think it was car-like enough. But I think the story goes they let it come along to tow cars if they broke down or something. Is that correct?
Yep, they let the tractor come and follow along behind the rally so that they could tow all the broken down cars to the next pit stop.
And well, this is the fastest tractor in the collection, as it turns out. I think they could push this thing up to 100 kilometers an hour, which, as far as tractor speeds go, is pretty bloody quick. That's translating to roughly around 60 miles an hour. So it's like the top speed of a Fendt tractor for the European viewers who had their speedy, expensive green things that I'm not familiar with. And considering that this is two-wheel drive as well, this had no front wheel assist or anything. So it was literally just those two back wheels powering this whole thing with the Perkins motor. And it's still in operational condition today. So in the modern day, this tractor will probably still do 60 kilometers an hour, although the steering is not what I'd say very responsive, I guess you could call it. The steering's very loose on this, so you would not want to be traveling down the road at 100 kilometers an hour in this thing. And over here we've got a 9G Champion. This is the open station variant of what we've got at home. Poor old Champy sitting underneath a tree. We're going to do something about him one of these days. This is a 9G. This is what my grandfather used to have as a seeding tractor back in the 60s. It's a pretty good machine. It's got the battery box up here for some reason. Got a couple gears here. I have no idea how half these pedals work, but it's here. So that's the prototype 40K. And over here we've got the production model. This is the tractor that is the basis for the big tractor sitting in Carnama. They built a replica scale of this, like 10 times the size of it. Pretty bloody massive. And this is the type of tractor you'd find in paddocks up and down WA back in the 1950s and 60s. This is the production model. That one started the chain that would be all of these tractors over here that you see. Over here, I think this is a visiting model, if I'm not mistaken. This is a Super 90. This, briefly for its time, was a absolute monster of a machine. For a very, very brief stint in the late 1950s, early 1960s, this held the record for the world's largest tractor. Of course, John Deere and all the others went and beat it, but it's physically quite big. And that's saying something, because I'm 6'4", and this thing is just huge.
Same sort of generator quadrant, but these tractors just pulled and pulled and pulled. These are quite rare now, and I almost gave one of the volunteers in the Tractor Museum a heart attack years ago because they asked if I could borrow a licensed tractor with a PTO to go and drag the welder out to the cattle yards and do some welding. And for some reason they lent me this one. And I had great fun going out, well, running the welder with this. It was a massive bit of overkill. We're also down here today with Noah from
Hello.
Farming.
We're also down here today with Jeffrey from Brookdale Farm. Hello everybody.
Hello. So we're out having a bit of fun down here. This one here is a 55DA. These originally had a two-stroke engine in them as well. This one is interesting. This one's very similar to the Super 70 over there, even though this one's a little bit older, I believe. One of the common conversions with these ones was when those engines wore out, they put a Perkins 6354 in. This was a really common engine. It was easy to get parts for. They were easy to work on, and I'm pretty sure that you could get a Chamberlain conversion for these. You needed you can see here there's a sort of welded up bell housing spacer in here to fit the engine in, but this was a really common conversion for these tractors.
Righto, unfortunately our time at the Tractor Museum of WA has come to an end. Very special thanks to Jeffrey. Jeffrey is also making a video. He'll have it put out well before mine goes up. So if you want more in-depth details, Jeffrey is the man to go to, not me, because again, amateur YouTube farmer over here. Very special thanks to the WA Tractor Museum in Whiteman Park for holding this event and celebrating the 80th birthday of the Prototype 40K. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Happy farming, people. And hey, if you love Chamberlain tractors and you're from abroad or you're in Australia, please, please, please come visit Jeffrey, come visit the other volunteers at the WA Tractor Museum. They are very knowledgeable about tractors, be they farmers or be they not farmers. They've done a fantastic job putting this event together. They've got a whole bunch of other exhibits in here and in the big building behind us. Please come and support them. Thank you.